go into the panel discussion at the moment, and I have a couple questions that come from our audience, and I think we should take them in turn, if that's all right with you guys. So a question that came through was, can technology actually replace human input in the future? Would technology have all the answers to accounting and business problems of the future? So who would like to brave that one first? Ashton?
Can you hear me? Yeah, we were just trying to get the first part of the question. Can you repeat it?
Sorry. Can technology actually replace human input in the future world?
Yeah, it's the age-old question, right? So it's the evolution of the CFO and the value we add. So my personal view is that at some point in time, as technology evolves, we have to catch up with it. I think someone said it on the panel here earlier that finance is evolving. We're no longer just support, we're leadership. And I think the mix of support and leadership is how we see it. 10 years ago, finance may have been 70% support, 30% leadership. Today, we believe it's the reverse, and I think that'll just continue. In terms of technology, I actually think finance professionals should embrace technology to actually optimize the outputs that they give. So how does technology help us give better input, better leadership, better strategy, better enablement to the business? That's the value you get out of it, my view.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Rosemary, what's your take on it?
I've got a similar take on it. What we're doing right now in Deloitte is moving from 5,000 PDFs and Excels every month to giving them a dashboard. And we thought we understood the data because we print it out in Excel and in PDF. And what we've realized now, when they can see this in a dashboard, that we didn't understand what they were doing or how they were understanding. So if you look at that on where we're headed with, are we going to be replaced with technology, those things will get more and more commoditized to allow us to use our brains and really give back more value as that CFO professional, instead of spending hours doing mundane tasks that maybe we've done over the last 50 years.
All right, thank you. Mikhail, perhaps your point of view in terms of...
Yeah, basically, I think if I understood the question correctly, if the technology can wipe out completely the finance profession, I think not, but it definitely has a large impact on the profession. And the impact that it has is that, again, the finance person, finance CFO, becomes more of a co-pilot for a company and becomes, in some extent, so where I see the profession moving is towards a person who is responsible for the effectiveness and efficiency of the business. So CEO, so Chief Effectiveness Officer of the company. So I think, again, so part of the transactions will be done, so more of a mundane tasks. I think, well, we see that already in many instances that they're moving towards automated processing. And I think I see more of a opportunity in that we can do than more interesting, more exciting tasks ourselves.
Okay, thank you. I think there's certain themes coming out, and we say that evolving role of the CFO becoming more strategic. As finance directors, CFOs, and directors here, so how do you get accountants to take on to that next step? Not everybody is in a very director position or a CFO position. So we're thinking about the people below, or how do you nurture the people underneath your team, in your teams, to get to that next level, assuming, let's say, technology literally takes on all the mundane work.
Can I start with that one?
Absolutely.
I think it's just happening automatically right now. The millennial generation gets bored very easily. They want to move in that direction. So I think it's just a natural evolution. It's moving that way without us even thinking about it. But I think we're here as mentors to help them learn the things that they may not want to take the time to learn and to show how that time does become a critical component of their natural ability to want to move very quickly.
Right. Okay.
My view is maybe just a bit different. I actually think that, and I'll use the word transformation. It's a very common word, probably overused in the last few years. I think it's one of the most difficult things to do. My experience is that, and I'm not sure what you guys have experienced, when you try to get a team to evolve as fast as technology is evolving, it is very difficult. Human behavior, by nature, says, and the cultures that we have in our companies, by the way, mine included, says, getting people to stop doing maybe lower value stuff, maybe stuff that's more repetitive, maybe stuff that they've been doing for the last 5 years that they want to hang on to, it is so difficult. So I think your point, though, on mentorship, on coaching people, on sometimes having to make the tough decision to change people, is part of how we get there. There is learning, there is education, finance leaders will become technologists, but the risk we run is that if we don't move fast enough and make the tough decisions, we can fall behind, because it is a very difficult thing to do, to change human behavior.
And this is where I'll agree to disagree with you right now, Ashton, because I think what we're seeing, and I'm seeing it in the 20-year-old group, they don't care anymore. They're willing to learn and change immediately. And maybe it's the rest of us, so older than 30, that are still stuck in this, our culture doesn't want us to move as fast, or we don't like change. But the 20-year-olds, I can see it in my nieces and nephews, they're ready to adapt. So it'll be interesting to see what the world holds.
Let me marry both of you, okay? I think I think that doesn't matter whether the age group, but I think that at the end of the day is to enable the person to see that it's manageable, regardless of the age and all, to see that you can use step-by-step approach and get a hang around it. For example, in my organization, this is part of our culture. It is so a part of, analytics is part of our service and products as well. And in order to make sure that everybody adopt technology, especially accountants, okay, I'll give you an example. So we service our clients globally. We have Australian clients, we have Asian clients. And therefore, there are 3 hours differences. So Australia wakes up before us 3 hours before Asia. So my point is, I got my accountant to understand that if you can embrace technology and make use of the data, then you can better make decisions or help the board make better decisions. So then she panicked because she didn't understand how that can happen, and she felt very inadequate and inefficient because she doesn't have her arms around business intelligence and analytics. So I say, look, all you have to do is to track the probes, images probes, the traffic. So if you track when do we have the peak coming in? We have the peak coming in when Australia wakes up. And Australia wakes up, and all the way until they sleep is between 9 to 5. So their 9 to 5 is Asia's early morning until afternoon, all right? So the point, to cut the story short, is that with the information that we have and we generate using the business intelligence and visual analytics, we were able to show to the operations people and the CEO, that we don't need to put in more CAPEX. We don't need to put in more OPEX. We just need 2 shifts to overlap. Wow. We just need to overlap the 2 shifts, And that's it. You will then be able to conserve your costs and still make sure that we're able to cater to the customers. So my point is that we walk step by step with the accountants, with ourselves, and show how and illustrate how data can be managed to make useful decisions. So the usefulness and the manageability is very important to calm the nerves. And as leaders, we have to task it on ourselves to show the way.
Well, I have one last question for everybody, just really conscious of time. I think time has literally flown away. It's already. So I think if I'd ask each of you to give 3 things that you would recommend, everybody here in the room, accountants, people that are just growing into their roles or moving up their careers, what advice would you give them? 3 things from each of you.
3 things. So, well, as a neuroscience will tell that introverts are very bad to answer the questions on the spot, so I have to think about it. So, I think the advice that I would give, right, three things. I think one is, well, first of all, get your certification. So that is one very important. So, second one, the thing that helped me, I think, and again, it's probably not an advice to everybody, but be open to change. I think this is, kind of going back into what Ashton was saying. The change is faster and faster, and being flexible to adapt to the change is crucial in our world. So try to be flexible and adaptive to the change. The third things. Well, you use neuroscience to understand and speed up your brain.
By the way, I forgot to say, you can't repeat what Mikhail just said. So, you can't.
Okay, well, that lost the word flexible, because flexibility was one of mine. But I think be a lifelong learner. We need to continue to learn. Be open to change, no matter what it is. So I'll leave it at 2.
Okay.
I'd say, we've all talked about the change thing. I would say be bold. Be bold. And last but not least, become relevant. Don't let this generation of leaders not become relevant. Just, be relevant.
Okay, cannot repeat any word, right?
No.
You're not helping me. Okay, I think you got to be competent, technically competent. You have to be able to convey, and that means you have to be a marketer, a storyboarder, and you have to be very conversant with neural intelligence.
Let's give our panelists a round of applause. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you.